Okay, we're going to get started. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kevin O'Shea. I am the Executive Director of the Public Legal Information Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, or PLEAN for short, and I'm honored to be moderating this plenary panel, our final session of this first day of our conference. There are challenges in developing and providing public legal education and information services in any part of the country. However, reaching and supporting the legal needs of rural and remote communities often present their own increased barriers and unique issues. Additionally, connecting with and supporting Indigenous communities, particularly in rural, remote, and northern areas, brings its own set of challenges, especially as the historical and ongoing impact of colonialism and the impact of intergenerational trauma, including trauma experienced within and caused by the legal system, continues to be felt. We're lucky to have three wonderful panelists here with us today who serve rural, remote, northern, and Indigenous communities, two based here in Canada and one in the United States. And so over the next hour, we'll be discussing strategies for connecting with and building the legal knowledge and skills of the communities that our panelists serve. So I'm going to give a short introduction to our three panelists, and then I'm going to bring them up to do a presentation, and then we'll get us into some question and answer, and then have time for questions from all of you in the audience as well. So first, Paula Michelin. Paula's originally from the Straits region of Labrador, and she spent the last 30 years living and working in Labrador's central hub, Happy Valley Goose Bay. Through her current role as Access to Justice Coordinator with Public Legal Information Association of NL, she brings legal information, education, and supports to people all over Labrador. Sounds like a great organization. In 2025, Paula was appointed to the Board of Directors of the Newfoundland and Labrador Legal Aid Commission, and also currently sits on the board for the Libra House Women's Shelter in Happy Valley Goose Bay, which are both organizations that are near and dear to her heart. Doreen Stone is Executive Director of Anishinaabe Legal Services, and she's had the privilege of working with Anishinaabe Legal for over 28 years in the Legal Aid Department. As Director of Legal Services, Doreen oversees a range of vital programs, including the Legal Aid Certificate Program, the Staff Lawyer Program, the GLADU Program, the Community Release and Reintegration Program, the Indigenous Bail Release Supervision Program, the Public Legal Education Program, and the Court Services Program. And finally, Valerie Falls Down is the coordinator of the Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project, Tribal Advocacy Coordinator for Montana Legal Services. She joined Montana Legal Services Association in July of 2021 as Tribal Advocacy Coordinator. Valerie currently holds a license to practice at the Crow Tribal Court, Chippewa Cree Tribal Court, Northern Cheyenne Tribal Court, and Fort Peck Tribal Court in Montana. Valerie is also a member of the Montana Supreme Court Access to Justice Commission to develop, coordinate, and implement initiatives to expand access to and enhance the quality of justice in civil legal matters. So welcome to our three panelists today. And I'm first going to call on Paula Michelin to give her a talk.
Hi, everyone. So Kevin is my executive director, and I did tell a few people today that he made me come here and made me do this, but the truth is I was really honored to be asked and really excited to be here today to see all of you and to speak with all of you. So my name is Paula Michelin. I'm the Access to Justice Coordinator for the Public Legal Information Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, which is always a mouthful when we have to say it at presentations, but we call it PLEAN for short. I don't have a clicker if anyone is advancing slides. All right, so Public Legal Information Association is an independent nonprofit organization founded in 1984 when the government of Newfoundland and Labrador, along with the Law Society, realized that the people of the province really didn't know much about their rights, their legal rights. And that's when our organization was born. And our goal, because of that, is to educate people of our province on their rights, legal rights in all different areas of law. We do have offices in St. John's and in Goose Bay, and I'm actually based in our Goose Bay office. That office was formed in 2020, right in the middle of COVID, which was a challenge, as a lot of people around these tables know, I'm sure. There, so this is a map of Labrador. I did this for a funder that came to our office to visit us one time, just so they could get a real snapshot of the area that we serve. So I live in Goose Bay, which is where all the lines point to. And it is attached to the mainland of Canada, which, I mean, the island portion of the province is Newfoundland. We service communities to the north, south, east, and west of Goose Bay. The northern communities are fly-in, fly-out by Twin Otter. If anyone's ever traveled on Twin Otter planes, it seats about 16 people. The benches come down from the sidewalls. You pull it down when you get on the plane, and it's not for the faint of heart. So that's how we travel to the northern communities. The southern communities and west are by road that was just paved over the last 5 and 10 years, about 600 kilometers of road that has no cell phone access at all. So definitely falls under the category of remote. There's about 30 communities in Labrador that we service. And all these communities are made up of a range of different people. Majority of them are Indigenous people. We have the Inuit people of Nunatsiavut and Nunatuavut, and the Innu people who live in communities of Sheshatshiu and Natwashish. And we've grown to, over the years, I guess, made relationships with all these communities, but it's definitely been a lot of work. So with public legal information, we obviously provide legal information to people. We do legal resources, so we've created various publications around family law, child protection, Landlord-Tenant Act, things like that over the years that we help circulate around the communities. We do have a lawyer referral service, so there are about 50 lawyers around the province of Newfoundland and Labrador that have agreed to be on this lawyer referral service with us. They provide 30 minutes of legal advice for the cost of $40, which is paid directly from the client to the lawyer. We also hold legal clinics and notary clinics. So we pay all the fees for lawyers to travel to Labrador from Newfoundland, and I'll talk a little bit about that issue in a moment. But, well, I guess I can talk about it now. Labrador has very few private lawyers. If I can go back to my previous slide. So in Labrador West, there's one law firm and one legal aid office. The one law firm has 2 lawyers on the ground, and they deal mainly with issues in Labrador West because they have a big enough population that they are quite busy with what they do. In Goose Bay area, we have one law firm where there are no lawyers on the ground. They are fly-in as needed, and we do have a legal aid office there as well, and that's it. So that is the amount of lawyers that are servicing that entire region. So we do, like I said, we do publications and information sessions. We do travel into community to provide legal information sessions where we're trying to make things light and fun and very serious topics, obviously, but it's important just to get the information out to people as best you can. We also, through Plean, have a newcomer service. So my colleague Maria, she does wonderful work with the newcomers of our province. She also has an immigration lawyer that travels around the province as well, especially to Labrador, to do legal clinics with the people there as well. We do have a new tenant legal advice. I said landlord in there, but that's not right. It's just tenant legal advice project that we just started recently as well. And that's something that's been really needed in our province and going over really well. So, some of you had the joy of listening to my colleagues at the Journey Project do their presentation just after lunch. Janet and Ashley did a wonderful job. So the Journey Project assists people who've experienced intimate partner violence and sexual violence to help them navigate the justice system. They do all kinds of wonderful things. If you get a chance to have a look at their pictures out in the lobby there, they're a wonderful, wonderful art display for everyone to go check out. And as well as the Newcomers Project, which is, again, my friend Maria, and their contact information is there, and I can give it to you afterwards if needed. This is a little example of some of the things, some of the adventures we've been on over the years throughout Labrador. One thing that I wanted to mention also that we do is our Youth Justice Camp, which goes over really well every year. We have all kinds of professionals, legal professionals come in. The picture that you see here with the judge, that's Justice Stacey Ryan. She's the first Inuk to be appointed to the Supreme Court in our province. And she actually facilitated a, blanking here. Mock trial, thank you. So all the kids prepped during the 3 days of our youth justice camp, where they would go in and some of them were going to be the Crown, some of them were going to be the defense. We had a couple people who were volunteering as the accused person or the victim. And at the end, they were rewarded by sitting in front of an actual judge, and the judge deliberated. And the kids really got into it, and they look forward to that program every summer. Down on the bottom corner there is a picture in Nain, and next to it is a picture in Natwashish. We go to Natwashish all the time. There's a lot of dogs. we often take them back for the SPCA just to help them out a little bit as well. Next to that picture is a painting that we've done. We do host paint nights to try to get the information out in a little bit more of a gentle way. Offer a little bit of painting, a little bit of information, a little bit of conversation. So that's something else that we do. And this last picture here was the result of our youth justice camp, where all the kids got to write down what their favorite thing was during our last day of our youth justice camp. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Paula. I'm going to welcome Doreen to say a few words now.
Thank you, everyone. Bonjour, Wache, Ani. My name is Doreen Stone. I am a second-generation residential school survivor. My parents were the first generation. I am a member of the Sturgeon clan. So unfortunately, I do not speak my native language. So English it is. I am the executive director, acting executive director at Anishinaabe Legal, and I am the director of legal services. I oversee a number of programs which you have heard about during my introduction, and I've been with NAN Legal for well over 30 years, but 28 in the legal aid department. Anishinaabe Legal was created in 1990 under a resolution of the chiefs of the Anishinaabe Nation to address the systemic shortcomings for the administration of justice in the NAN communities. That was to improve the access to justice for the 49 First Nations communities that we service, to improve and deliver culturally grounded programs to respond to legal services. So my slideshow. Click play. Sorry. Apologies. Oh, okay, perfect. All right, here we go. Let's see, next slide. There we go. Okay, sorry. Okay, this is a map of Anishinaabe Nation's territories, and beside it is the map of France. So the map is just to highlight the geographic size of NAN. So we border the Ontario, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec, the Hudson's Bay, and the James Bay. So this map is just to show you a visual of the mass territory that we cover and the remoteness of our communities that we service. Next. So about us. Our mandate is to promote creative community justice systems and to deliver a wide range of law-related services, including legal, paralegal, legal education, law reform to the members of NAN. I'm going to short form it instead of saying Anishinaabe. So our mission is to deliver these programs and services in a culturally appropriate manner, sensitive to the unique values, customs, and traditions of the NAN communities. Our vision is to respect and revitalize restorative justice forms and justice through Indigenous laws and Bimat Tazwin. It's our way of life. So our values are on unity, self-governance, sustainability, respect, dignity, integrity, and honesty, sharing and partnerships, humility, courage, compassion, caring, wisdom, and truth. So we have 6 sub-offices. So we have a head office in Thunder Bay located on the Fort William First Nation. We have our office located in Thunder Bay in the Chapels building, which houses a lot of our programs. We have an office in Dryden. We have an office in Timmins. We have an office in Kenora and in Sulakaut. So we offer a number of programs and services. So we offer the legal aid. We have for community legal workers. We have staff lawyers. We have a public legal education and communications officer. We have our GLADU program. We have our Indigenous bail verification and community release reintegration program. We have our discharge program. We have our restorative justice program that focuses on youth as well. We have youth intervention. We have sexual assault, domestic violence workers. We have a pre-charge diversion program. We have bylaw workers, a community learning hub program, victim witness liaison, Talking Together, and My Journey Back Home. So within our legal aid department, we are an office of Legal Aid Ontario, so we are the only First Nation organization that issues legal aid certificates, and we assist the members who cannot afford a lawyer. So they have to qualify legally and financially to qualify for our legal aid program. And then this next slide is just the values that we follow, the guidelines for financial eligibility. And this information is all available on our website. Click. So we have our community legal workers. We have 10 workers to represent the 49 First Nations. So they are the first point of contact for anybody that's going into the communities or anybody that comes into contact with the criminal justice system and or family. They are the ones that take the legal aid applications, they enter them, and then we have our assessment officers in the office who process the applications, and if the client qualifies, certificates are issued. We have our staff lawyer program. We have 6 staff lawyers on staff to act as duty counsel, so they go into the fly-in courts, and they are the first point of contact for people who have not met with a lawyer, and the lawyers guide them through the steps necessary. They can give them legal advice and or provide summary advice with them on that day of court. We have the 6 lawyers, so we have 2 in Thunder Bay that service the remote fly-ins from the Thunder Bay office. We have 1 in Dryden, 1 in Sulakaut, and 1 in Kenora, and 1 in Timmins. So we have our public legal education program. The public legal education is an activity that provides legal information on the laws and services available to the First Nation membership. PLA, our plan is to educate and promote legal education to all the community members. With this curriculum, we have a number of opportunities and presentations available that we provide to the community members when requested, and we often go into the communities. During the break, I was arranging 3 public legal education clinics that are coming up. So we have one Friday going into a community. Next week, we have 2 going into 2 separate communities to address the issues. So with our public legal education, we offer topics on banned bylaws. We have an anti-bullying. We have a child welfare. We have a criminal and family law presentation. We do firearms. We do harvesting and treaty rights. We do human rights laws. We do ID clinics. We do Indigenous treaty rights. We do information on the justice system, providing somebody what happens when you first get charged, the step-by-step guides on what they have to do. And then we have clinics going on in wills and estates because we have an aging population within our territory. So our goal is to educate everyone on what the proper issues with wills are, because there's a difference between having a will on reserve versus off reserve. So we're trying to educate everyone the importance of having a will. And then we do offer clinics as well as on power attorney and the Youth Justice Act. At NAN Legal, we also have a GLADU program. So with this GLADU program, we have 6 case writers and 6 aftercare workers. So the workers interview everyone that is referred to the program. These workers then take a lot of time interviewing the victims, the collaterals, and the offender to get the whole story, and they highlight this. We have been successful in writing a number of GLADU reports that have helped reduce the time that an individual will serve in custody. Our Indigenous bail verification. So these are clients that are referred to our Indigenous bail workers at the time of bail release. They work with the clients and make sure that they're adhering to their bail release conditions. And the youth community release reintegrations are the next step. So once they're released, the reintegration workers assist this person to migrate back into the community and help them, guide them along the path of healing. I'm going to skip that one. Now I just did that one. So our discharge planning. So our discharge planning program came about with COVID, with our clients who are in custody and then not being able to get home, because we are funded now from MEG to assist those clients who are in custody when they are released to get home safely, because during COVID, there was nobody to pick up the inmates, how you get them home. So we pick them up. So we get them from the jail to the airport, bus terminal, taxi, and we make sure that they arrive home safely. And we've had a number of discharges, and our budget is probably over $30,000 a month to assist our clients getting home. And we have our restorative justice, Mama Hichkiwan. I'm not going to say that properly, but it's our restorative justice program where we help the offenders and the victims and the families and the communities to try to repair the harm that was done. Because with any violent act, there is a victim. So we try to repair that harm and create, I guess, a healing path for everyone involved to be able to have their issues addressed, have them speak their mind in a culturally safe environment with no repercussions for afterwards, and to come up with a healing plan. That is our goal. So we have our circle process here, which, like I said, it invites we have a facilitator, we have our worker, our sort of justice worker, we have the offender, we have the victim, we have the supports, we have the elders, and anyone else in the community that wants to input into how to repair this damage that was done. With that, we also have our youth. So our youth are our future. And with our youth right now, they are suffering. So our goal is to get in there as quickly as we can to educate them and to help them and assist them with anything that they have, other issues going on, because there are issues in the family home. So how do we help them? We try to assist them with that. So with that, we have our youth intervention program. So we have workers in the communities that go in to assist them. We have paint nights as well. We have drum making circles. We have all different types of programming to get the youth, to gain their attention, to help them, to guide them along a better path. So with our other restorative justice programs, we have our bylaw program. So we have bylaw workers that go into the communities to help the communities draft a bylaw. What can we do to assist you and revolve around the best interests of the community. We have our sexual assault domestic violence workers. We have one worker that has 600 clients right now. We're working on getting a second worker in there to help with that caseload because unfortunately we have a high volume of sexual assault cases and not enough workers to do it. We have our community hub. So with this program, we are in partnership with Springboard Canada. So with the hub programming, we have one facilitator as well to service the 49 First Nations. So she has a high caseload. She has a number of programs that enhances young adults and youth with innovative tools to engage the participants through a touch screen. So we have iPads with all the programs on them to assist them with anger management, what's the word I'm looking for? To help them with financial planning. So if they're in custody, when they come out, how do you do financial planning? So we have all these modules on our laptops or iPads, and we assist them with it. So our one worker, like I said, she will go to a community and have 15 clients at one session. And then another day, she'll have another 15 to try to help teach, I guess is the best way, and guide them along a healing path. And we have our pre-charge program. So the intent of this program is to assist people and enter before they enter the court. So we try to go into the schools and we educate. So that is our goal. And we have our victim witness liaison program. And this is also to assist individuals from further victimization by assisting the victims and witnesses in preparation for any courtroom. So we work in coordination with the VWAP program. They provide one half of the service, we will provide another. So we have a working relationship with the VWAP program. And we make sure that the client has finds a safe place and determine what resources in the community are available to them. We have, let's grab that. We have our Talking Together program, and this is our alternative dispute resolution for a family. So with this, we hold circles similar to the restorative justice, but this is a family-based circles, and we try to provide children and families with the opportunity to speak. We want to return to the control to the family, and with this, we have the child welfare agencies involved as well, and we try to come together with a community healing plan, how to repair the harm done to a family by domestic assault per se. Let's say if a child gets apprehended, we'll bring everybody together, let everyone speak, and how do we help this family? That is the goal of the Talking Together program. And we have our Journey Back Home. This is a program to design children that age out of the child welfare agency, and how do we reintegrate these individuals back into the community, because there is children that may have been apprehended at a young age and they've aged out at age 18. Where do they go? So we try to bring them back into the community. So we have one worker for this as well to assist our 49 First Nations. So with that, we face a lot of challenges as well. We have ongoing shortfalls in funding that really impacts our delivery of our services because, like I said, we have such a vast territory and sometimes we only have one worker to service 49 First Nation communities. We comply with all the regulations and guidelines that are provided to us because we are funded by the federal government and the provincial government, and we also are funded by Legal Aid Ontario, which is a great partnership that we thoroughly enjoy. And then we have Springboard Canada, and there is one other one, the Ontario Law Foundation. They fund one of our programs as well. So we have a number of issues that we currently facing within our territory. Bill 5. This act is the Protect Ontario by Unleashing Economies Act. This act is to streamline the economic development and regulations within Ontario. This act, though, raises very serious issues on our communities because this is opening the north up. Our communities are already vulnerable. With this act, with the mining and the natural resources that are out there, it opens the floodgates to more attacks on our First Nations communities. They are already vulnerable, but this also increases the high risk of drugs. We have a drug epidemic in our northern communities. It's escalating. We have, with the drug use, we have high risk of violence. We have a lot of overdoses. We have a lot of suicides. And unfortunately, last night, we lost another youth due to suicide. And the drugs severely impact our communities. It's an impact on our mental health, the community safety, and we have the risk of human trafficking. The high risk of suicide all coincides with the drug use. Right now, NAN is under a state of emergencies because we've had fatal shootings in our communities with the drug dealers coming into our remote communities and is creating havoc. We aim at NAN Legal to expand our public legal initiative by providing more education. Our goal is to attack human trafficking because with the highways, we risk women. We have lost a lot of women. Some are still missing, some are found. It's a daily struggle. We want to focus more on wills and estates. We want to focus on the drug epidemic and the legal consequences. We have cyberbullying. We have online safety issues. We have privacy and voyeurism issues under Criminal Code 162. We have youth that are a part of that. We want to educate the youth on what the pressures are of sharing intimate photos. There's online grooming. There's exploitation of our youth. We have digital harassment. We have privacy violations. But many youth do not know that any of this is illegal. We want to educate them to say, this is not okay. We want to show them what protections are available to them. We want to show them where to get help. We want to provide, legal education for them. We want to have a clear explanation what the legal responsibilities are and what their rights are. We want to inform this in a trauma-based workshop. And have reporting and safe pathways for them to navigate the legal system. As I said, we have human trafficking, and it's particularly geared to young women and members of the, I'm going to say this wrong, 2LGBTQS community. So we want to educate everyone on what's out there, what the risks are, and let's be all safe. So we have a number of challenges, and like I could say, we could just do it day by day, little by little, but everything that we do to try to educate the communities is a bonus. And I want to say thank you and for allowing me to speak to you today, and let's work together on building future relationships. Miigwech.
Thank you so much, Doreen, and happy to welcome now Valerie to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. Wow, that presentation was great. I love the community partnerships that she just described. Great presentation. I am from Montana, United States. I arrived yesterday, and the only thing I came across is that I didn't bring a jacket. It's not this cold in Montana, and when I arrived, I saw that there was snow on the ground and it was cold. But good thing the conference is in the same place as the hotel. So I've been involved in many projects in my career. Helping professions is what I do. Today, I want to talk to you about one of my projects, the Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project. I am the Tribal Advocacy Coordinator for Montana Legal Services in Montana. Whoops. MLSA's mission is to protect and enhance the civil legal rights of and promote systemic change for Montanans living in poverty. Montana is home to 7 reservation-based communities. The majority of Montana's reservation-based communities are in the very rural eastern part of the state where access to legal services is already difficult. Further exacerbating the problem Relatively few attorneys are licensed to practice in tribal courts. Tribal courts may have less than 10 attorneys licensed in their court system. Whoops. Sorry, I have to read from my notes or I'll start rambling on. The need for legal services in tribal communities is evident by the number of cases handled by MLSA's Tribal Law Practice Group each year, as well as input from current tribal court judges and staff. MLSA services in Indian country are limited to one full-time attorney and one part-time domestic violence attorney. With the heavy travel burden that comes along with serving tribal court clients, MLSA had a need to increase the staffing level to address the number of cases, which was growing by the year. In all tribal courts in Montana, consistent with tribal customs and tradition, tribal lay advocates are authorized to represent individuals with legal disputes in tribal court. Lay advocates are non-attorneys who have met the qualifications of the tribal court and code and have been licensed to practice law within the tribal jurisdiction. Each tribal jurisdiction has its own requirements for admission to the bar. Typically, lay advocates must take and pass a tribal bar exam. In all tribal courts, tribal advocates can represent individuals without having a law degree. Tribal advocates must sit for a tribal bar exam and be accredited by the tribal court. While all tribal courts have tribal advocates, there are not enough to meet the growing need for civil legal aid on Montana reservations. Montana tribal courts have a shortage of trained lay advocates, and in order to meet the need and sustain the civil legal needs of Montana tribes, MLSA has partnered with 6 tribal courts in Montana, the U of M Alexander Blewett III School of Law, and the Montana State Bar Indian Law Section, and launched the Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project. Participants in the Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project will be focused on common civil legal needs in addition to the basics on how to run a legal business. Once participants have been trained, they will be a part of an ongoing cohort of advocates who agree to receive referrals from MLSA and charge clients no more than the modest means rate. We use this outline to develop the TAPE project in phases. This is one of the questions I get asked most about is, how did you build the project? We use these phases, and I think that the longest out of all the phases is the outreach we did at the beginning. Meetings were held at each of the reservations to meet with potential partners in an effort to inform the details and the benefits of the TAPE program. At this phase, we also recruited attorneys from each community to aid in strategizing regarding the timeline and what it is going to look like and what training topics are needed for an individual to start their own legal business. It was also decided by the advisory board that training will be provided remotely and in person and will be tailored to meet the needs of the individuals and tribes taking part of the program. This is what the advisory board came up with. We met with at roundtable meetings, advisory board meetings. The purpose of the advisory board and monthly meetings were to gain input and recommendations from a pool of professionals who had worked in tribal courts and tribal communities. From the monthly planning meetings, we decided on 14 tribal law topics that would provide the essential information that lay advocates would need in order to represent clients in tribal courts. In addition to the 14-week course, a 4-week business plan training course would also be provided so participants can gain knowledge on how to start a legal business. Also, an in-person mock trial training with tribal court judges and MLSA staff attorneys will be provided so that participants can receive essential feedback. A tribal bar exam prep training will be provided so that each of the participants can become licensed to practice in tribal court at the community where they reside. Our training program usually takes about 6 to 8 months, depending on where the individuals take the tribal bar exam. Sometimes it can go up to a year. The TAPE participants are eligible for supplements to cover the fees for taking the tribal bar exam. Whoops. A travel stipend for in-person training and a stipend to cover startup costs for legal business. In exchange for this no-cost training program, the participants agreed to accept referrals from MLSA clients for 2 years. Participants will provide 150 hours of services to MLSA clients at either pro bono or no more than a modest means rate. The participants are able to accept cases outside of the modest means practice as they grow their legal business. The last training piece is to provide tribal bar exam prep training so that each of the participants are prepared to sit for the tribal bar exam and be accredited by the tribal court upon exhibiting their knowledge of tribal law. Participants will also be given supplements to cover the fees for taking the tribal bar exam. Community partners provided invaluable guidance. Surveys and outreach provided information that we were able to implement into our program to make it a more closely tailored to tribal community needs. We surveyed and incorporated community partner feedback on training topics, which led to the inclusion of topics like trauma-informed advocacy to ensure our advocates are best prepared for the realities of their work. All of the pre-launch feedback helped to ensure that TAPE is aligned with community values rather than resting on assumptions of what the community needs. The goal of the Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project is for a licensed representative of each tribe to start their own legal business in their own community. With MLSA support and ongoing training, these individuals will be able to eventually provide an opportunity for local community members to have access to justice within each of the 7 tribes in Montana. The need for legal services in tribal communities is evident by the number of requests and also the input that we get from current tribal court judges and staff, including requests for lay advocate training. We will also continue with once-a-month roundtable meetings to provide training and support for lay advocates as requested and as needed. The Tribal Advocacy Incubator Project has been a very successful access to justice project so far, and MLSA hopes that the lessons learned from developing the project will be replicable in developing future access to justice projects in the state and out of state. So, We are in our 4th year. We started this 4 years ago. Currently, our cohorts in training just took the bar exam, are in preparation to take the tribal bar exam. What they need to wait for is the results of the exam, and once they pass, then they are able to start their own legal business. Our first-year advocates have started their legal business and accept referrals from MLSA. The most referrals that we get are family law issues, divorce, custody, parenting plans, all of those. The second highest is Indian wills and estate issues. We also get referrals for employment, housing, and criminal issues. The majority of our cohorts work and reside in the community where they are licensed. Once they pass a tribal or receive a tribal licensure to represent clients, they are eligible to go to another tribal court and also get licensed in that court so they can serve more clients. As I mentioned, we have rural communities, so the distance between each of our tribal communities maybe is 1 hour to 4 hours in between. We have a regular circuit ride where we travel to the communities, as all of our clients are low income and no income. Sometimes they don't have access to internet, or they don't have access to cell phone service, so we try to meet clients in person as much as possible. The TAPE project, in its 4th year, received the American Bar Association Lewis M. Brown Award just in December. And this is because, and I want to emphasize that we provide a legal service with minimum input and funding. The individuals that we provide, that we train, receive free training, and then they provide their own legal business, which they charge the modest means rate, which means $60 to $120 an hour. This is a lot cheaper than getting a lawyer in the communities. Of course, we work hand in hand with the lawyers, and the request that we receive far exceeds the number of people that we have. So we hope to continue with year 5. Every year in May, we start our training programs, and we will be starting year 5. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Valerie. We're going to move into some questions and discussion. And one thing I noticed is that all 3 of the presentations included a map of the regions that you serve, which I think is really useful, and especially for other organizations, funders, decision makers, say based in St. John's or Toronto or Washington, D.C., that often don't have a good understanding of the geography and the distances and the challenges of serving regions like yours. So I guess my first question for the panelists is, what are some of those most significant challenges you face in reaching and connecting with the communities you serve, and what are the strategies you've used to address those challenges?
Who wants to go first? Go ahead.
Hello. Okay. Challenges for the NAN territory is the cost of travel. Travel is very, very expensive to fly to our remote communities. So let's put it this way, you can go on an all-inclusive vacation to a nice beach island for less than it will cost you for a round-trip ticket to go to the remote communities, which is probably about $2,700 return. So that is the biggest challenge that we faced, and with that is to access our clients. That is the big challenge because that takes a huge chunk out of our budget because we're only funded so many travel dollars for our workers to get in there to work with the membership. So it's a huge impact for us. And our strategy is that we try to partner with other organizations. If they have a plane going in, let's cost share and let's share the cost of a charter to go into the communities.
I can echo the same thing. We also have the cost of travel in Labrador is outrageous. It was cheaper for me to fly here to Ottawa than it would be to fly up north in my own province. So definitely can echo that same challenge. Another challenge that I see that we face, especially with the Indigenous communities, is going into community and trying to build trust. And that's something that needs to be earned and something that definitely needs to be worked towards. And there's been such a trauma from other organizations in the past that they've experienced. So it's a big hurdle to try to overcome.
I would also say that our funding was one of our biggest challenges. The 14 topics that we decided on, we needed instructors for those projects, for those topics. So what we did is move our advisory board of attorneys and judges over as instructors. And they did this on a volunteer basis, which is so thankful for, because we did not have the funding to pay for each of these attorneys. So we have 14 topics, we have 14 different attorneys, and because they provide this service on a volunteer basis, we did not want to burden them with more than 1 week. But they provide a weekly lecture, they provide a weekly legal reading assignment and a practical assignment. And the cohorts complete the lecture on Monday. All the assignments are due on Sunday, and we start a new topic. Our training program is fast-paced, and when we first started our recruitment, we wanted to get individuals who knew the legal system and legal terminology, because we had individuals who did not understand some of the assignments. Our attorneys do the assignments for based on their expertise, and we had some individuals who did not understand legal terminology. Of course, we want everyone to succeed in our training program, so now we make sure we let everyone know you will need a legal background to participate in our program.
Another thing that the presentations all, I think, touched on it a little bit is the lack of lawyers, of practicing lawyers in the regions you serve. And I wanted to ask about the role of community workers, non-legal workers who are trusted in the community, who work in the community, and their involvement in your programs and services. How do they provide support and assistance in ways that be different from lawyers? And just the importance of those roles of non-legal community workers with all your organizations.
Okay, I'll go first again. So we have community workers, and they are, like I said earlier, the first point of contact for anyone that comes into contact with the law. Not only do they process the legal aid applications and forward them, but they also do the applications for firearms. So we have them filling out birth certificates. We have them commissioning documents, because as community legal workers, they are commissioners and can swear affidavits. So they assist in any possible means that a lawyer cannot do. So they work with the community members. They will for advanced day per se is a pre-court day that we have in the remote north to have clients access to justice, because we have a number of fly-in courts that take place. So these community workers go in the day before, they gather up the clients, bring them in, have them meet with their lawyers and or duty counsel, and assist them with any issues that they may have. They face a lot of challenges as well as trying to recruit within their communities to get everybody to court, because it's something that nobody really wants to do is show up for court. So they face a number of issues, but they do a fantastic job. And they also assist with per diem lawyers or private counsel, they will locate their clients for them and bring them before them, and they'll give them information, messages, and do any advocacy work that they can to assist the clients.
Paul or Valerie?
We don't have any community workers per se. We are the community workers. We are the people that go into community and do the presentations and do the work. But what we've done over the past few years is really make connections to people who are well respected in community, community elders, trustworthy people that we can really connect with on the ground who are supporting what we do, sharing our word around and our information around with other people in the community. And through those people, we've come to learn a lot more about the actual communities that we serve. The Innu and Inuit both have timelines that they have shared with us, and they do presentations on those, which are really valuable information to help us understand what they've been through and where they are right now. So we value all that information that we get from these community members and the connection and the collaboration that we make with them.
In Montana, it's a little different. The Montana tribal courts have their own tribal bar exams, and the lay advocates have to take the bar exams in order to be licensed to represent clients. They are expected and are held to the same standard and ability of the expectations of a state certified attorney. This is a little different than we have a community justice worker initiative currently in Montana. They have petitioned the Supreme Court in order for CJWs to assist in specialized areas. I think a couple that I think of right now is regarding protection orders and Medicaid issues in certain specialized areas. So I'm hoping in the future that will expand to address more legal issues. Our lay advocates, however, are trained across the board to address any legal issue that is presented to the court.
Thanks so much. I'm just mindful of time. Do we have a couple minutes for questions from the audience maybe? So I just want to be able to turn it over to the audience for some questions. Maybe just one final question before we do. Valerie, I wanted to ask, I know your organization was involved in a recent study that was released around access to justice in rural communities. And were there a couple highlights from that study that you were involved in that you might be able to share?
Yes, the report is titled Where We Live, Promising Practices from Rural Communities. Legal Services Association is the largest funder in the United States for legal aid providers to better reach underserved populations. The report answers the direct question, why is access to legal aid important in rural areas? Access to justice helps ensure that all people, no matter their financial situation or personal circumstances, can protect their rights, seek legal help, and receive fair treatment under the law. Having access to the courts is important because it helps people settle disputes peacefully through the legal system. The report mentions barriers to access to justice, such as the shortage of attorneys in the rural areas, travel in rural areas, the long distances to courthouses to obtain legal access. Also mentioned is the lack of internet access and cell service, which hinders virtual legal aid. Key highlights include the importance of cross-sector collaboration, partnerships with organizations such as colleges, health providers, social services, thus multiplying the reach of legal services. These partners help identify legal needs early and facilitate access. The TAPE project is one of many projects included in the report. I recommend reviewing the report. It is provided in the PLEAC material section, right?
It's going to be on the app, I think, Hannah? Yeah, perfect. That's great. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank you.
Why don't we turn it to the audience for a few minutes for some questions. And I just ask anyone with a question to please use a mic. So there might be roving mics, or there's at least a mic stand over there and over here. So many questions for our panelists? Yes. Do you want to use this one?
I don't know if I'm the lone paralegal here, and I'm not practicing, so I'm not like trying to sell myself in that way. But I'm wondering if it leads to something like I draw comparisons with the U.S.-based community legal worker and the paralegal. And here in Ontario, we are under the Law Society of Ontario, and we can take on scopes and tribunals and different things like that. Would that help in other provinces? Like, I guess I'm thinking of you, and maybe also I think about, is there a possibility of training people who live in these communities to avoid the constant travel, or is that not an option?
That's a good question. I'm actually a trained paralegal as well, but not practicing. And our province, unfortunately, doesn't have any legislation around paralegals, so that really limits what we can do. Obviously, having people in community who have legal knowledge would definitely be helpful, and we do through our information sessions, try to give them at least the information that they need to be able to do like the most common processes like family law applications, criminal law process, wills and estates, things like that come up on the regular. So we try to give as much information in community as possible. We leave our publications hoping that they will read them, and there's lots of helpful information in those. But yes, absolutely. Our province needs to do a little bit better, I think, in regulating the paralegal, because I think that would be a great answer to a lot of these problem challenges that we're having. But there's still ways to go yet.
Doreen or Valerie, did you want to weigh in on that, or? No? Any other questions from the audience? Maybe just one final question I had was about the importance of collaboration and working with other organizations. And Paula, you touched on this a bit. Organizations, maybe not legal organizations that are serving the same communities, or also legal groups like legal aid or pro bono services. Can you talk maybe a little bit about partnerships, how important they are, and why they're essential to the work you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously collaboration is crucial to the work that we're doing, especially in Labrador with the lack of private lawyers in Labrador. Right now we're paying lawyers from the island portion of the province, which is very expensive, to come up and do our legal clinics, and there are very few notaries in our region, which we're finding to be a real big access to justice issue. We are collaborating with both Indigenous governments, the Nunatsiavut and the Innu, and as well as the Nunatuavut Inuit. We're working right now with the Innu to hopefully develop a restorative justice scope, which is not really happening anywhere in the province right now, and especially not in Labrador, so we're really excited for that, to give them back some of the ability to take on their own matters, but definitely collaborating and in community as well with, like I said, trusted people and elders is really crucial to building that trust and getting the information out there and doing the work that we need to do.
Any other final thoughts, Valerie?
I want to stress, as I mentioned earlier, collaborative partnerships help us identify legal needs early. And I think that's very important. In the TAPE program, we have an ongoing MOU with each of the tribal courts. And we stay in contact with the tribal courts on not only legal issues, but any staff changes, any updated resolutions, anything going on with the courts. We, on a weekly basis, keep in contact with each of the tribal courts, and we also come across social service in our line of work. Like I mentioned, the majority of legal cases that we get are family law, and that involves social workers. So those are key to helping these individuals, gain access to justice. So I believe collaborative partnerships are essential in any program.
Thank you. Final words, Doreen?
Okay. Yes, we have a lot of wonderful collaboration and working relationships, and a few of our funders are sitting here in the audience. But I can't even speak anymore. We will require more funding because unfortunately some of our program funding, especially our legal advice supports, which assists with our public legal education, is coming to an end. So we're constantly looking for funding because we know the need is out there. We see it. And if anybody has any leeways.
Same here. Our funding is off the end of March. Please help.
Yeah, this is an SOS. But yes, please feel free to reach out if you have any connections or a new avenue for us to explore, because we're always looking to expand our programs and services to our members. And with that, I'm going to say that we have some resources available on our website as well, and I believe the link will be with our materials as well, because we do have a fly-in court report that's going to be uploaded in the next little while. It's in for printing, and we will have a digital copy uploaded onto our website, and we do have our life stories. It's a comic book about our voices not being heard from the Gladue. And then we also have some video resources on our website as well, if you're interested in reading about the work that we do in our communities. But we believe in partnerships. It's mandatory. Thank you.
Thank you. How about we have another round of applause for our panelists? Thanks very much to all three of you. So that concludes day one of the conference, and there's a social that starts at 5 o'clock at the Lux Bistro, which is just down the road in the market on York Street, so it's very close. Light snacks are provided by the conference. I think drinks are on Justice Canada's tab, if I remember correctly. Just kidding. Just wanted to see if Rachel is watching. Drinks are available for purchase there, and day two of the conference starts tomorrow at, Hannah, 8:30? 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. So thank you for a great day, and we'll see you at the social, hopefully, and see you tomorrow. And Jess is going to cut me off.
Just a quick note to say that for anybody who is who's observing Ramadan, there will be hot meals that are going to be left at registration. So if you need that, you can pick that up. In 5 minutes, they'll be down. Thanks so much.